Hello everyone and welcome back to another Figurehead Reviews video, and today I'm very excited to show you my very first Mezco figure. And of course, as a big Green Lantern fan, I gotta kick things off with Mezco with Green Lantern. We have here the John Stewart Mezco 1/12 collective figure with this beautiful logo in the front. We get Green Lantern John Stewart name there at the top, the 1/12 collective logo down there, and then DC. On the side, we do get a dark green with that Green Lantern logo again, as well as the Mezco logo right down there, and then the 1/12 collective logo on the top. And then we get the same thing on the other side. On the back, we get a beautiful product shot with all the accessories that we get with this figure, as well as some of the promotional shots that we saw during the pre-order period. And then on the bottom, we just have some slight embossing with some legal stuff. And then same thing on the top, we got some light embossing with the 1/12 collective logo. And then if we just lift up the protective sleeve here, we can see safely secured inside the box is going to be John Stewart, wrapped in a lot of plastic, but we have all of his accessories in there. And then one more time on the back, we do get Gomez there. So very, very cool. I can't wait. Let's get this open and take a look at John Stewart. And here is John outside of his packaging, and like I said, this being my first Mezco figure, I didn't really know what to expect, and as I took him out of this packaging, those of you that have Mezco figures, if you think back to the first time you unboxed it, I just had that experience, and it was awesome. And if you don't have a Mezco figure, the first time you buy one and you start to take them out of the packaging, there's this sense that you need to be really careful with it, but at the same time, you start to just get into the poses and things like that, and wow, they really deliver. This is actually the first time I even saw a Mezco figure in person. I don't have any local comic book shops around me that have Mezco or anything like that, so I didn't really know what to expect aside from what I've seen on other YouTube videos. And again, it just does not disappoint. Very, very excited to get this. He does come with a ton of accessories, so we're going to get a better look at those accessories. I actually, before I got him in this pose, I forgot to measure him. Of course, this is the 1/12 or 6-inch scale, but we're going to do some comparisons with some of the Mattel figures, so you'll see how he scales up with those figures here a little later on. So first, let's go ahead and jump in, though, and take a look at those accessories. And here are all the accessories and the interchangeable parts that we get with this figure, not including the stand, which we'll take a look at here in a moment. But you can see we have a lot to choose from. So we start off, we have the two different head sculpts, which we will look at in closer detail, which leaves us with a variety of hands, the lantern, and a alternate emblem, or not an alternate emblem, just an extra emblem for his chest. But starting off, we do get a pair of open gesture hands for both the right and left hand, so that is cool. And then we get some flying posing hands for both right and left. You get two fisted hands, right and left, so you always have his ring hand is the right hand. And then we have a smaller effect piece here with just sort of the smoldering ring. I love that. I really wish this would have been adjustable, though, and you could move it around. You can't. Don't try it, because I tried and almost broke it off, so I don't want to do that. And then with the left hand, we do get a open, or gripping hand, rather, slightly open, so that you can hold on to the lantern. Looking at some of the effects fists that we get, so we have a fisted hand with this effects piece coming out, and that is really cool looking. I like that. Just a generic blast, but still looks very, very cool. And then we get, we'll go to the shielded hand here. So there is a fist inside of there creating this shield here, and I think that is really cool looking. You do get some texture design to it, so it looks like that, just that light energy effect. I think that is awesome, and I love on the inside, it just really looks like it's emitting from the ring. And then we do have the flame hand here, and then this one actually doesn't plug into anything other than just straight into the wrist peg there. So you can see you have the port there, so it doesn't go over any hand or anything like that, like what we might again be used to with like Marvel Legends. It actually plugs in, so that is really cool looking. And then we have this hand, which I think is great. I actually really like this. You get sort of that star pattern on this fisted hand, and I think that is awesome looking. And one thing I didn't expect is just the quality. So this is a very hard plastic. It does not really, I mean, I'm flexing it, but that does not bend. So if you don't have this one on the figure, make sure you're posing it in a safe place. And then we have, of course, the lantern, which the lantern does have a light up feature, which we'll take a look at here in a second. But I kind of want to get a little bit of a close up here. So they went with a pretty stylized look for the lantern. To give you kind of a comparison, here is a standard Mattel Green Lantern. And I got to say, I kind of wish it was a little bit more designed with this shape and such in mind. I don't mind this one. I think it looks really cool. But yeah, it's definitely a stylized version of the lantern. And then what you need, so you do get some batteries, of course, to go in here. So real fast, I got a small screwdriver. Oh, not quite. There we go. So you just pop the screw out, and then you can see you'll have the port right in there to pop those batteries in. So let me go ahead and get those popped in, and we'll take a look at the light up feature. Okay, so we got the batteries in place, and with the light up feature, the standard fisted hand with the ring on it, what you'll do is just put that near it, and you can see it'll just light right up. And it only does it with this fisted hands. I assume it's magnets or some other sort of near field type work, but very, very cool looking. And let me see if I can dim the lights here a little bit. So a little bit dimmer. Let's see just how much that glows. Yeah, that's actually really cool. Can I even dim the lights a little bit more? Oh, very cool looking. Yeah, that is a very good glow, and it's actually quite bright too. So, yeah, I like that a lot. And then real quick, I did just want to touch on what I was talking about with this emblem here. So he has the emblem here on his chest, and this does actually come off without too much effort, and it just plugs right in, and I imagine that, of course, was to get the cloth on. The emblem that it comes with is identical, so there's no difference. My guess is it's just meant to be an extra one in case this one pops off and you lose it. And then here we have the stand that we get with it. So very cool looking. I love the classic Green Lantern logo. Very good size base. And you do get, of course, the arm, the articulating arm to grab a hold of it. This does rotate on it. Very, very cool though. There is a small foot peg that will be in here. You do need to pop it out from the back side, not from the top down. At least that's how I got it out. So if you want to use this as a standard for the foot peg, you can do that. Or, of course, if you want to do flying poses, you can use the flight stand there. So very cool looking. And taking a look first at the bald version head sculpt that we have here, which really seems more like it might be based on his appearance from the Justice League cartoon, because I don't remember John being bald in the comic books, or at least not very often, and I've wanted to have a premium figure to look at for a long time this up close with my camera, really just to try to capture some of the detail, and man, Mezco really makes a great figure. We can see we get a little bit of flashing, but when you look at some of the detail up close here, if we can focus in, I love their use of just some of the colors here to really make the skin tone look great. I love the green eyes. The paint applications look really well done. The teeth, that's actually pretty impressive there. I actually really like that. We can actually see that there's some pink there in between the teeth for what I would assume would be his gums. Or maybe not necessarily his gum in between his teeth, but still just not plain black and not just slathered in white. So, man, that head sculpt looks fantastic. I love that. And the expression on it I really like too, of course. I like the aggression that we're seeing here. So I think that is really cool. And one thing I'm really surprised with Mezco figures is how easily these heads pop off. It feels like it's a little bit of a softer plastic used than what I'm used to with Marvel Legends. But then looking at the head sculpt that feels more familiar to me, we still get a great design here. I like the calm look. I kind of wish that this head sculpt had the angry look and the bald one had the calm look, but still looks really well done. I love the hairline there. Came out looking great. Man. Yeah, I love it. Now, looking down at the rest of the figure, primarily looking at the costume here, I do like this costume design, and this is, again, one of my first cloth figures that I've gotten, or clothed figures, and very, very cool. Of course, all the seams, they have to have the seams somewhere, so they'll have the seams there in the back, but I like the use of this material here. And it's really good with the instructions saying how to be very careful and that sometimes the figure can move beyond the limits of the clothing. I like the fact that we have not a ton of this material on here that is going to stretch and contort. So it's not too bad. A lot of the key areas where you're going to be doing the posing is going to be just the black cloth there, which is, of course, a stretchy material. But very, very cool looking. Man, yeah, I like that. I like the boots there. We get some good detail. And again, just looking at, really, I'm interested in some of the accuracy of the paint detail, the lines. You know, you don't see this with mass market figures where you're going to have a lot of bleeding and things like that. Like you would have, these lines would be all over the place. Same thing like on the gauntlets. Very, very cool looking paint design. And actually, even with that being said, like the hairline would be probably all over the place on something like a Marvel Legends, but we get a nice, tight looking hairline there. So yeah, very cool looking. Now looking at the articulation, again, the instructions say to be careful with this. So being my first Mezco figure, some of you guys that own Mezco are probably going to watch this and say, you can go, you can do more than that, but I'm going to be pretty careful. I really like the head articulation. You get some really good side-to-side articulation. He can look up quite a ways. He can look down, but I love like some of the side gestures that you can do with these figures. Maybe not necessarily for this particular figure, but I can see how a lot of Mezco figures could really benefit from that. The arms, of course, would spin all the way around, but I'm not going to do that because I don't want to flex that material. But I would say, probably could go a little bit further there without flexing too much. And I really don't know the limits. I'll mess around with it, but that's not too bad. But you do have, of course, shoulders that can come up quite a ways. That's actually about all the way up. There is, let's see. Yep, there is a upper bicep swivel there. And again, I'm not familiar with the articulation, so I'm discovering on my own. So we have double jointed elbows. No other kind of rotation there, but of course we do have rotation there on the hands. And then you have that hinge there, which the orientation of the hinge appears to change with, of course, how you have the hand oriented. I don't know if you can spin this piece of the hand. I have not tried yet, so I don't know, maybe if you're a Mezco owner and you know whether or not you can do that, let me know. The diaphragm joint seems really cool on there. We get a lot of movement there, back, forward, to the side. Like we get a lot of shifting there. I like that. There is some waist rotation in there as well, so you can actually have some really good twisting and turning and things like that without flexing too much there as well. Legs can come apart pretty decent. Can kick forward pretty decent as well. Kick back, not so much. There is an upper thigh cut there. And then we have double jointed knees and nothing at the boot from the looks of it, but we do have a hinge there, and then we have some ankle pivot. So there might be some articulation that I missed maybe. Let me know in the comments, because again, first figure by Mezco, so I'm being very careful with it, but man, really cool looking. And that about does it for this review, everyone. And I wanted to do a little bit of a photo montage here at the end because I really didn't have enough pictures showing some of the accessories in use, or didn't really go over those accessories being in use. So I wanted to show them here. But let me tell you, this figure is very cool, and I may have made a mistake in buying him because while kind of taking a break from recording here, I just sat down and started looking at some of the other Mezco figures that I don't have that are very expensive. And man, I really want a lot more Mezco figures. The posability on these things is just awesome. I never should have done this because I'm considering seriously just switching over my DC habits to Mezco and have those be my line, and that does not bode well for my wallet. But yeah, this is a cool figure. I love these effects. I love the design, and like I said, I can't wait to get Hal next to him. And again, I hope that they make things like Sinestro and some of the other characters in the lineup. So but that is it for this review, everyone. So I do appreciate you stopping by and checking out my very first ever Mezco review. I do appreciate the support too. If you like this video, subscribe and make sure to hit that bell icon for notifications. I've been getting some pretty steady growth and really want to be able to do more of these premium figures for you. But I need your help in doing that. So make sure that we are just subscribing and give me good feedback. And I love seeing you watching the videos. And aside from that, thanks for watching them and have a great day.